let's go ahead and begin. Where's my introduction? Here we go. Welcome back again, everyone, to Urban Jungle. Today, our story takes place in the city Tergoga in a not too dissimilar 1920s America, full of gangsters, cultists, and animal people. I'm your host, Griffin, and joining us today are our players. How about we all introduce ourselves? Starting with Theta.
You did it again!
I did it.
I am Dante, the original famous sloth magician. Personality is material. My motto is I always have a plan. My current goals are take care of the entity once and for all, as well as excavate and encounter the entity, as well as put an end to Mr. Wonderful's plot.
Excellent. Next up is Norman. Tell us who you're playing. Oh, technical difficulties. Rafferty, you there?
Am I here now?
Yes, now you're here. Hooray!
Yep, microphone went to sleep again. My bad.
It's like,
Okay.
I can hear y'all.
So yes, I am Norman Rafferty. I am playing Claudia Greathouse, wealthy dilettante by day, but at night she becomes the woman in black, a rich fox mass vigilante / monster hunter.
There we go. An exciting character. And your
My
goal.
motto is justice
And-
tempered by mercy, and I also must, like everyone in the city, I'm looking for Mr. Wonderful.
All right, very good. Next up, we have EHH. Tell us who you got.
Hi, I'm James Green. I'm a Deer Knight debunker, and my motto is there's got to be a logical explanation. My goals are to his goals are to make himself named first as a debunker. He hopes to do that by debunking a psychic, and he hopes to stop Mr. Wonderful's plot as well.
All right, wonderful. And Ender. Tell us who you have.
I am playing Zechariah Jericho. He is a college-age bat with who has developed some very odd telekinetic abilities after a tragic death in his family, which he believes might be related to some strange dreams he's been having lately. His motto is, I won't let the people I love get hurt, never again. And his current goals are to uncover the truth behind his brother's untimely death, investigate these strange dreams he's been having, and also to stop Mr. Wonderful's plot.
All right. Did we actually complete that goal last time? The investigate your dreams one.
I mean, he got some knowledge towards it, but I still think I don't know.
So we'll go ahead and keep on working towards it.
Yeah, it's
we'll
like
find
I
out
think
why
he's
everything's
still.
weird.
Yeah, I think he's still working towards that one. Like he got a lead, but I don't think he is 100% accomplished that goal yet.
Gotcha then. All right. Would anyone like to give a quick recap of what happened last time? We're unfortunately missing our reporter who would be doing the recap themselves. So, anyone want to go ahead and give it a go?
Well, I believe that we all got together as part of. Did I write this down finally? What's the name of our literary society?
The Eastwood
Book Appreciation Society. Yeah,
there you go.
The Eastwood Book Appreciation Society comes to order. We say as we load our guns. Yes, because apparently the mysterious reporter here, who doesn't actually work for any newspaper or anything, showed me photos that shows that once again Mr. Wonderful is active in the city. I say, clenching my teeth and baring my fists.
It's like Edmund's a reporter, Zach's not.
Oh. Well, through dubious means. What I love is through dubious means, because you can control the flow of energies. You've doctored 2 photos, but it clearly shows that Osborne, Mr. Wonderful, and his sidekick Miss Osborne are back in the city.
Couldn't Dante actually alter one of those photos?
Yes. But the most important thing is they're back in the city, and I suspect they're back to their crimes of arson and murder. And so I wanted to marshal resources to go ahead and deal with them once and for all.
All right. And in more specifics of what happened last time, the crew had a psychic vision of a warehouse that would be very fatal to investigate, and instead staked it out and followed a truck over to Randall Tower, a very rich upper class set of apartments, a tower
Oh
20
yeah, I almost
stories
forgot about
tall.
that.
Yes. And inside, the woman in black had an encounter with gangsters going up the elevator with their illicit cargo, which turned out to be some strange golden statue, which is not actually fully gold, as the rich Claudia Greathouse has analyzed.
Yeah,
but
when
it's
I
actually
shot it,
fake gold.
that's what I love about my reaction when I shoot with bullets. The bullets bounce off. Hey, if you were made of solid gold, those wouldn't bounce off. And then I ran away because it's a freaking monster made of gold.
And in lesser news, the statue actually came alive and started moving, leading to said gunshot and fire alarm. And in the
Right.
papers the very next day, there will be a short headline about a fire scare over at Randall Tower. Uh, some some people within the tower reported hearing strange noises before the fire alarm went off, but no one actually saw anything happen. Though one person, a Sadie McFarland, comments that they saw a strange figure in black leaving the 7th floor when they poked their head out to investigate. And that has made it to the news. Is the strange figure in black to blame for a possible fire? Find out in our next edition by continuing to pay our subscription.
This is like paid 17 news, I'm guessing.
Exactly. It's buried in there. Small but recent events. So let's see. So since our reporter isn't covering that, we'll go ahead and start off with Zechariah. Zechariah, you have a ordinary college day to begin with a couple of classes. You begin your morning set of classes, and the first few hours go by pretty quickly. But eventually, one of your professors, Dr. Jean Templeton of the Department of Health and Psychology, will wave you down after the lecture to come see you as other students are leaving for their next course. He's a small, meek gecko with a happy smile and a wrinkled suit.
Alrighty, well, Zach will approach him and nod politely and be like, "Is there something I can do for you, Professor?"
Oh, just a little bit. I just thought we could talk a little. I've heard, or well, I couldn't help but hear from the librarian that you've been checking out some interesting books lately, haven't you?
It's sort of a passing interest. It was something my brother was interested in, and I
Right, not exactly academic titles, are they?
well, they can't be scientifically proven. I'll give it that much.
Well, I'm glad that you're curious, but perhaps that curiosity would be better put to use elsewhere, if you understand. Maybe you'd like to borrow a book or two from my library instead. Instead of keep reading that junk as though you might end up in Zeta Alpha Phi or something.
I can assure you it won't interfere with my studies, Professor. Like I said, it's just a passing curiosity.
Of course. But if you're interested, well, I would like you to read this, if you could, and maybe report back to me on it. Our department's been doing a bit of research based on a few Arkham and Harvard recent studies. If you can get through it all and show me what you've learned afterward, I could be open to the idea of adding another research assistant to the team. It's been a while since we've had the help of your brother Jasper. May he rest in peace. But you have that same excited energy that he does, and it's just honestly good to see it again in a student.
Well, I will do whatever I can to assist you, sir.
Well, you don't have to do much. Here. And he'll go ahead and take out a sort of heavy but very short book and hand it over to you.
Alrighty.
Go ahead and give it a read, and if you can actually get through the subject matter and parse it out, we could talk about it. You're always
Alrighty.
free to come by my office anytime if you have any questions as well.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
All right. So, what do you intend to do?
Well, I guess I'll take the book back to my dorm and give it a quick once over at least.
Okay. So this book is less of a full textbook as it is a series of research papers, arranged narratively and chronologically by the author.
All right. Does it have a title just so I can add it to my inventory here?
Let's call it psychological research papers, accumulated volume or something.
Okay.
Like I said, there's not exactly a specific title for it. But there is an initial forward to it that makes it clear that, quote, ridiculous thoughts of the supernatural and mind control are to be dismissed outright by the scientific community. But even in this absurdity, the research shows that there can be a small parallel as we explore the depths of the human mind. If you want to understand the text, you could give me some mind academics.
Would I did just acquire the gift of research? Would that help me here?
Absolutely. A studying student has to be good at researching all of these meticulous, boring papers.
So it would be mind, career, and the bonus D12. I would have, and academics. I would assume.
Yep, that's right. I think you just have the one that has academics, so let's see what we get.
So and then there's the bonus D12.
Hey, congratulations. That is 2 successes. That is enough to parse through this terrifying set of research papers. You do have other classes and other things that you want to do today, but you think that you can get through this whole thing. On skimming it over, the book goes into detail on experiments to affect the brain without necessarily engaging in direct contact, i.e., lobotomy. It goes into descriptive detail on the effects of various drugs on people's behavior and their self-reported engagement with these drugs, and then moves into experimental electrical stimulus of the brain and various observable effects under light voltages. The conclusion is winding and incomprehensible speculation about how to further these experiments.
All right. Well, certainly interesting, but it doesn't really explain my personal abilities.
That's true. You don't remember shocking people with them, have
Yeah.
you?
Yeah. No, it's like I'm pretty sure I haven't performed electrotherapy on anyone, and I think if I did, I would probably be in jail
Hmm.
because I do not have any medical training.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, you could always go around, just take batteries, shove it to people, and get some static electricity on everyone's fur. Yeah, it's simple.
Yeah.
So you spend a good portion of like your morning just going over this book. Uh, so we'll go ahead and let that time pass, and if someone interrupts you, we'll come back to it.
Alrighty.
Uh, Claudia, you're having a another pleasant morning when, as always, your friend and employee, uh, Alton, will return to your manor to have breakfast with you. And he has, of course, more papers underneath his arm.
Well, that's I guess when you have somebody on retainer like this, you get service. I'm surprised he came personally, didn't just send a messenger.
Well, I do enjoy being able to talk these cases over with you. Honestly, you're my sole contract at the moment. and it's also allowed me to expand a good bit too, the amount of money you've been throwing our way. So, a personal report, well, it just seems polite. Somewhere in the back of your mind, you also remember that his secretary also looks very remarkably like you.
Yeah. Things are starting to get a little suspicious here. I'm gonna put a pin in that. Anyway, so what information? I have my own notes from what I saw last night, but I don't know if I want to tell those to a private investigator because, well, it's a bunch of crime, isn't it? So I'm just gonna go ahead and see what he brought.
All right. So he'll engage in a little bit of small talk with you. See, it's like, how are you doing? You look like you're getting enough sleep, etc. But he'll get to brass tacks soon enough. And he'll go over what he's found. Well, after yesterday's excitement, my investigators came back with what they've managed to scrape up. First up, we got the Wallace family. Old world money. Came to the city and then sold arms and ammunition to the Confederates. Funny how that gets around. By the looks of it, that Confederate money got real worthless real fast and started to take their other businesses with it. No customers, no money, no business. City records show that they kept selling their land and properties off for the next couple of generations, about the last 5 decades. So I take it they never got any luck starting up again. Makes sense. Fremont Firearms Company is the big name in town these days. So I guess they swooped in and took up their spot.
Were the Wallaces the original owner of Cranberry Woods or the founders of Willow Springs?
He goes ahead and takes a look through his files briefly and says, no, I'm afraid not. I haven't seen that those names pop up in these files.
It's not really important. So the Wallaces were family money, but apparently they came on hard times. Well, what happened to them today?
Well, let's take a look then. The members of the family that we could find for sure were Gregory and Marcia Wallace, and obituaries show they died to consumption about 5 years ago. Same source also says their only inheriting heir was their youngest son called Grom Wallace. Seems if there's any... I know, it's very odd name. I don't like it. Well, personal issues aside, it seems that if there's any more of them, they've gone elsewhere to seek their fortune. Not much out there about Grom, though. Suppose, like most well-to-do folks like yourself, he tries not to draw too much attention to his private affairs. So we don't have anything on him.
Nothing on Patrick Wallace.
Just to correct out of character, the name was Patrick Walls on the elevator.
Oh, okay. That's unrelated to the Wallace family. Sorry, I thought they were all related.
Yes, but it does strike you that they were at a Walsco warehouse before.
Yeah. Okay. So I thought they were connected. My bad.
Indeed.
Interesting. Okay.
Your detective does seem to think they're connected, but he'll get to that. So let's see. So that's what we have on the family. He says he passes a couple of pieces of paper just to confirm some things over to you. So I suppose onto their business ventures. The Walls Family Brewery. This was one of their last holdouts, and Prohibition did it in 3 years ago. Got re-permitted for fertilizer just this year, however. Now, here's where I think I found most of what Mr. Wallace might be up to. He's been selling off the remainder of his family's properties around town ever since he got hold of them. Probably trying to raise funds for something. That's my guess. A lot of it went to a holding company owned by a Mr. Patrick Walls, owner, of course, of Walls Glass Company. Curious, though, is that shortly after this sale, it looks like that holding company sold off the North Lake Steel Mill to another brand new holding company that founded just this month. My investigators got the scoop on the place, at least. North Lake has been shut down for the last 4 years. A lot of others that quit Oh, did I? There we go.
A steel mill in the Midwest shutting down? That's unthinkable. Everyone knows that there'll constantly be a strong industrial presence in the Midwest for decades to come.
I agree, but if you recall, 4 years ago was when the unions put out a industrial strike on the steel unions. They called in a
And
bunch of
also
people
the
to
end
break them up, and I guess some of them
Yep.
couldn't really pay the price.
And the end of the war didn't help either.
Absolutely. I get the feel those commies decided to wait until the end of the war to strike too. Well, either way, a lot of the others that quit got bought up by the Augusta Steelworks Company and owned by the Randall estate. They're all working just fine. But the locals are saying about Northlake, saying something funny might be going on. They've seen some workers heading into the place and a couple of trucks and smoke during the day.
An unusual amount of activity in a place that's supposed to be shut down.
Exactly. Locals say that they tried asking if they were open again, because, they would like some jobs too, but they were told to go away. Private property. My detectives chose not to engage and kept their distance for the moment. I think we could get into that in the next couple days. So, what we have is two men trading around defunct properties with each other, and a lot of new money going to this Mr. Wallace fellow's pocket.
Well, I appreciate the information. As usual, I hope I can enjoy your confidence.
Of course, of course. One second, I'm just making sure that I've given you all the information he has here.
Well, if
did
I've got his notes, so if I have some more information, I have some things I need to research.
Oh yeah. Yesterday with that Walsco warehouse, I decided to look into this Walls character too, and I couldn't find anything. I thought you might like to know. Well, nothing interesting anyway. Apparently there's some ghost stories going around, but that's about it. They got a contract with Macy's, but that's pretty on the up and up. Walls looks pretty clean.
Well, as usual, you've been extremely helpful. But if you'll excuse me, I have a very full social calendar today.
Of course. If there's anything
Thanks
else you
again,
want us to look into particularly, you know to call me.
I'll shake his hand.
All right. He'll shake your hand, and he'll leave you to business.
Okay, I have to call. Is it Green? I always get James's last name wrong.
Yes, James Green.
Yeah, I need to call James Green.
EHH, you get a phone call.
Okay.
Do you have an
hello?
office?
What? I have an apartment.
Okay.
Mr. Green, this is Mrs. Greathouse. We need to make a trip to the library. I need your help with some important research.
But of course, I'd be glad to help.
All right, I'll pick you up.
All right. So you arranged to pick him up. And I have a quick question. So, EHH, James doesn't necessarily have an office. He takes calls then, I suppose.
Yes, from his apartment.
Okay. And you put your name out there as an investigator too, right? Since you're running a business.
Yes, in a sense.
Okay, so you will definitely receive a call as you're literally putting on your coat for the day. That someone is interested in speaking to you. I got something for you if we could meet in person.
I'm a bit busy at the moment, but sure, maybe. I'm a bit busy at the moment, but sure, I'm sure I can call you and ask.
All right. When are you free? Where should I meet you at?
I tell him about the library.
Library. Well, all right. I'll see you around there in an amount of time. So he'll go ahead and meet you there later. And you head to the library. Via escort, since Claudia was glad enough to get you a taxi.
Well, no, I take the car.
Oh, okay. You personally went there to pick him up. Got it. Okay. So the two of you will arrive at the library, correct?
Yep, I know how to drive. Okay, James, I need to do some research. There have been historical cases of statues that come to life, right?
I look at her with the raised eyebrow.
And the only one I'm familiar with is the legend of Pygmalion and Galatea.
Which is what it is.
That's the one where Pygmalion made a statue that was so beautiful. He fell in love with it, and the gods gifted it. The ability to speak and move. It's a classical Greek literature, but I'm sure there's other examples of this, and I'm wondering what we can find out about legends of moving animate statues. So you, of course, are a skilled debunker and skilled in research. I thought we would hit the library and see what we could find out.
But of course, I've heard of the golem.
Why, that one I'm not familiar with.
So I give them the thing about Prague, and
But that one's made of clay, not metal. Well, we have to look into this. Oh, the metal I saw looked like gold.
Well, neither was
Gold.
Galatea. Galatea wasn't made of metal either, so.
Right, that was marble. Maybe it's something made of something that gold or looks like gold. So I'm trying to think of, did it look like gold or was it bronze? I don't remember.
I'm going to go ahead and give it to you. Since you are rich, it most certainly looked like it was gold, but you realize now it is only gold-plated.
Right, after I shot it.
Yes.
But that was weird, because that didn't seem to be a person in a costume, because if they were in a costume, they wouldn't be able to move. That's why so basically I want to go to the library and see if we can find any occult legends on whatever this thing is.
All right.
And I brought James because James actually has research.
Right. So looking specifically into other instances of this happening in mythology, I'm going to go ahead and say you will not actually find anything here in the library that is quite similar to what you had seen. Or at least nothing that matches the physical description.
Blast. I'll say, gotta smack my fist into my hand. None of this is useful at all. This could be some sort of bizarre science that we've never heard of, or perhaps something even deeper and more involved. If only I knew where to find Dante and Zamek, who masters of the occult arts. They might have some more greater insight into this strange phenomenon.
Well, you do know Dante is still out in Willow Springs. You could always give him a call.
I suppose we'll have to. I know he's got great anxiety in his mind, but I don't want to keep James away from his afternoon appointment.
Yeah, I told you about that.
Oh, well, if you didn't, eventually someone's going to come to the library looking for us.
Yeah.
All right. So by the sounds of it, you're not going to contact Dante, and you're going to wait for the afternoon meeting, or
Well, no, I'm going.
am I interpreting this right?
No, James is an afternoon meeting. I'm going to go call Dante.
There you go. Okay, that's what I was waiting to hear for sure. All right. So Dante, you've been having a morning over in Willow Springs.
I do, every day.
Exactly. Your mother made you breakfast and everything, and of course, you will receive a call.
Dante here. That is, who?
It's me, Miss Greathouse.
Ah, yes. What can I do for you this morning?
I have some questions of a supernatural nature. I know that we've been researching the strange entity you've been speaking of, but I wanted to know if you knew anything of myths or legends about animate statues made of metal?
I don't think I would, actually.
Academics is kind of the substitute for like occult lore, and
I
that's
don't
why I
have
went to the
any.
library first if we could find anything.
Yeah, I don't have
Right.
academics. That's why I'm thinking.
Me and James are the brain trust here.
Yeah, because with Zamek out of commission, that's most of the occult lore out of the window.
I mean, Zach probably might be able to offer some insight, but he's not present, so
Yeah, where is Zach?
he's still at the university, looking over the research papers that the professor gave him.
I suppose he would be my next stop because Dante doesn't know anything.
I mean, I suppose the follow-up there, though, for the sake of discussion. What do you ask?
I have a keen interest in statues that move under their own power.
For no other reason?
I'm not comfortable going into the details of that with you at this present moment, and though I enjoy your confidence, I don't think our relationship is quite at that level.
It was at the level that I could save your life and you could save my life, but not at the level that you could share with me. Okay, good to know. I thought we were beyond this. No.
I wish that I could somehow cross this boundary between us, but alas, at this moment, my feelings are just overwhelmed. I can't bring myself to disclose this reason. Please, I beg you, Dante, as a confidant, as a friend, trust me when I say I have my reasons for this.
It is fair. You do not wish to share. You do not have to share. I am.
So how goes Willow Springs? Any more children been abducted?
It's not about abductions anymore. Apparently, people are forgetting things. This is the concern that we are left with in the aftermath of the events that we have portrayed. Also, that I'm sorry, was it moss? That the moss is spreading again.
Well, I did find out that the university owns the land, but that might be something to go look into. I think I should go check with my friend Zach, who also is at the university. He might be able to know more information and help both of us.
Perhaps you should check in with Mr. East. He was also the one checking out the mold and whatnot. If the mold here is spreading again, maybe the mold and sheet that we gave to him is affected as well.
I sure hope he's not become infected by evil. That would be terrible. I'd have to punch him.
Either way, might be a lead.
Well, I'm off like a prom dress.
All right, so you're going to go off to meet with Zach, right?
That is correct.
All right, and James, then you had a meeting. Let me go ahead and move this to the back so I can actually click the token. There we go. So, James, you will receive your visitor at the library after you wait patiently for him. He is a lion in rough overalls, and he seems just a little bit nervous and will fiddle with his hat in his hands, but he's a big, tough guy, and he puts on the attitude for it. He sort of looks you up and down from about several inches taller than you are. Name's Fred. Fred Almeida. You are Detective Green, correct? Just like in paper. Good, good. Well, I heard you you look into strange things, the weird things, don't you?
Yes,
Like ghosts or something.
exactly.
So you'd be the one to prove that there ain't one, right?
Of course.
Okay. Oh, good, good. I suppose I should tell you what is happening. Oh, this is a good place to sit. Good table. All right. So here's the story. So couple guys went missing. Probably some accident down in the warehouse basement. Nobody can seem to find them, but couple of guys went down and to look, and came back out screaming about a ghost. That got everyone in a knot, and now nobody is shutting up about him. It's ghost this and ghost that. It's childish thinking. It's nonsense. It's not real. They probably saw spiderweb or something. Uh, if it was just the blathering, though, I'd maybe be able to ignore that. But they said that they wanted to bring in someone who could deal with it. Made it sound like they were bringing in some hooligan to do a hit, but no, no, no. Just some damned spirit talker or whatever they called him. Now I know if they bring him in, there will be no end to this bullshit. Not 1 minute they'll let it go if this guy riles them up anymore on their own imagination. I need someone, and he'll reach out a hand on, put it to your shoulder. I need you to talk some sense into him. Prove him there ain't nothing out there at all. Can you do that for me?
But of course, where is this place?
His place, Walls Glasgow, is over on Lakeside.
He, he's. I'll be sure to look into it. Thank.
I have something here for you then. This, and they'll hand you a piece of paper. They'll let you in if you show them this. They like me, they'll like you.
What's the paper?
The paper is just like a small note saying like, hey, I just want this guy to give a look around. He won't touch anything, and if he does, I'll pay for it. Signed, Fred Almighty.
Well, I'll be sure to look into it. Thank you.
What's your going rate for these? How much you charge?
Oh, it's a.
It's a what?
Well, I'm trying to make ends meet, so I'm sorry. I haven't really thought about any. I haven't really have thought about.
I'll tell you what, you think about that, and if you look into it, we'll look into paying for it then. Huh? Yeah.
Sounds good.
Good. Hopefully you shut them all up. And he'll give you a pat on the shoulder. I probably need to return to work. And he will go ahead and leave.
Hmm. Before before I go down there, I should look into this place. See if there's any hauntings. If there's anything unusual.
All right. So, Emmett is willing to let you look through the local newspaper archive that she has. So you can go ahead and make a roll and see if there's anything that's happened before.
Okay, research.
Yep. So that's a bind academics research sort of role, I think. All right. Let's see what we get. Ooh, that's 3 successes. That's very nice. All right. So you managed to look through, and you're looking specifically for ghost or other supernatural events. Unfortunately, they don't seem like they've shown up in the newspaper. Which is actually odd, because if people went missing but it hasn't been reported on, you have to wonder what exactly is going on. What's interesting, though, is that there's actually some talk about union organizing over on Lakeside, and how Walsco has not yet unionized.
Hmm. I'm gonna take a taxi down to that.
All right, so you're going to take a taxi down to the factory. Is
Yeah.
that correct? Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and overlay Glasgow to Toclair, and I'm going to move you over to there. Let's go ahead and move back to Claudia, searching out for Zechariah.
That's correct.
He probably wouldn't be too difficult to find. He lives in the dorms.
Oh, if you live in the dorms, I can call you on the phone.
Yeah.
Up to you then.
I
Do you
would
want to
do.
show up in person or give him a call?
We give them a call because they say we have to go to the university library. We need to do research.
There you go.
All right. Well, Zechariah will answer the phone. He's a little bit surprised to hear it from you. He's like, "Oh, Miss Greathouse, what can I do for you?"
We need to do some research. I have a particular statue that I want to get some information. So I need to find some information about it.
A
The
statue?
library was a bust, so I'm hoping the university might be better. Might have better information on it.
Well, I know that they do have a collection of various myths and such. They might have something.
Excellent.
May
I'll meet you there.
All right. I suppose I'll meet you there then. Before we go, though, Zechariah is going to go into his desk. He's going to take out a little leather-bound journal. It looks like it's been burned in a fire, but it's still mostly intact. And he's just going to tuck that with his belongings because he's thinking if he's investigating something involving the occult, he might need this.
All right.
Excellent. Fireproof wisdom, the best kind of wisdom.
So the two of you are rendezvous in the university library. It's much fancier and much larger than the municipal library of all things.
Right. I'll describe to him certain issues. So I only saw the statue. The people who were unloading it were just dressed as workers, right?
They were sort of dressed as hooligans. They had suits on and they were carrying guns.
They were dressed as normal plainclothes people, so there's nothing remarkable about that.
Yes.
Right. But the statue itself, I'm going to try and remember the details that I can. Because was there anything remarkable about it? It was tall, right? It was like 7-8 feet tall.
It was of normal height, maybe just a couple inches taller than you were. It looked like it may have been constructed out of two pieces, given that it was riveted all around the edges.
Right. So
It looked like a statue of a ferret.
A statue of a ferret that clearly moved under its own power and was clearly made out of metal. And I only saw that it had a riveted seam. It didn't actually have moving parts like a suit of armor, right?
It did in fact have joints, and those were in fact moving. It was not a solid singular piece.
Okay, that's a new detail. Okay, so it could have been somebody in a suit of armor.
And actually, if you want, go ahead and roll me some post-hoc observation here.
Okay, because I am an investigator. Okay, observation, specializing in crime.
Yeah, crime. Oh, well, you don't remember much. You remember you shot and then you ran. You do not recall many other details.
The bullet hit it and made a metallic ricochet sound, right?
Yes.
But it did have articulation. Well, I might be looking into the wrong stuff then, because if it was gold plated but articulated, it could have just been a guy in a suit. Okay, that's a new detail. Huh, well, this might not be a cult after all. It could just be a goofball in a suit.
So, what do you two intend to do?
While we're here, why don't we go ahead and, let's not look in the occult department. I'm sorry to have, there's two things I want to look up. One of them is Dr. East, who we gave a fungus sample to, related to an incident that happened in Willow Springs.
All right.
Zechariah.
Oh no,
you would-
sorry, East is not a professor. East is the enthusiastic graduate student.
Right, and he does actually serve up one of the classes. One of them that Zechariah is in for his 101 courses.
Oh yeah, I've heard that name before. How is he involved in all of this though?
Well, Willow Springs is an area of interest. Apparently, there has been some terrible things going on there. Dante could explain it in greater detail than I could, but there's apparently a fungus there that it's a fungus, right? Not weird flowers, but a fungus.
Correct.
Yeah, there's a strange fungus there that has been connected with disappearances and forgetfulness. I don't know if this is something chemical or something much stranger.
Hmm. So would this ring any bells as to what Zek's been seeing in his dreams?
A little bit. When it's described what the strange fungus that actually grows out growths of flowers that are nice and bright orange and also drip a similar substance, it does make you think immediately to your dreams.
And see, it doesn't
Okay.
make any sense because fungus doesn't flower.
At least not in a traditional sense.
Right.
You do get the feeling, Claudia, that East may have explained it at one point, but it may have gone over your head.
Well, they call it flowers, but it's something else. It's whatever it is freaking weird.
It's like, well, biology isn't exactly my specialized field, but I can try and lend some assistance here.
Well, what's really curious about it is the university technically owns the land that we found it in. There's apparently the Tricoga University is apparently the trust holder of the Tricoga Conservation Society, which owns the Cranberry Woods, the location where we found this fungus.
That is a little bit odd.
Not that weird, but we're like what, 20 miles away from Willow Springs?
Mm-hmm.
Right, it's like an hour-ish drive out there.
I don't know. It's like I'm wondering why the university would have such a vested interest in that particular patch of land.
Now, see, that's a good question. Maybe we should go look into the records to see if we can find out about this. Now, you don't actually have any administrative or bursar privileges, do you?
No, I'm just a student.
Well, they wouldn't let us look at the records. Actually, yeah, you're a student. You could say that you're looking into the records because you're writing a paper on it.
I mean that is fair. I guess I could tell a white lie in that regard. I also have a contact with a professor who might be able to lend us a hand here. I'm doing a bit of research for him as well, and
Sure, let's get those records and take a look at it.
all right. So
All right. So,
suppose
first
you're-
step, access to records. How are you going about this?
Shoot, that is a good question.
I just said you wanted to look into the records because you're writing a report and your history needs it.
Yeah.
So let's see. How about you go ahead and should I even make you roll for that? I'm going to say no. You are a student, and any librarian here will go ahead and shrug and help you get access.
All right.
Second of all, research then.
Okay.
So
And-
we're looking at more mind academics and research because that's our favorite thing to do.
Okay, and this particular isn't related to paranormal or telekinetic, so I probably wouldn't get the bonus D12 for researching telekinetics.
Probably not this information. No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Is there any way I can assist, or do I just not have access?
I mean, Zach
He has
could
access.
say,
You can help him read it if you want.
and it's like, yeah, it's
Go
like,
ahead and participate.
it's like I don't see why they wouldn't let her come in with him.
All right, let me go ahead and make a roll. I know something about university as I'm educated. All right, that's good enough for a D8 bonus for me.
All right.
So you get a D8 bonus.
That's 3 successes.
Hey,
I
that's
can
pretty
go
good.
through all the crap that's not relevant and just read it out.
Yeah.
So tell me again, real quick, what were you targeting in particular?
We're looking for when the university bought the land, if there's any like news clippings or reports of why they bought it. I mean, it's a little weird because you'd have to justify it. You're it's a university. They have to justify the purchase. Why are they buying this instead of something else?
Okay. So, for the first part, I believe it purchased the land something about 25 years ago, it seems. At the request of the university head. There's actually a few statements at the time about the need to preserve the natural environment, and Cranberry Woods is a vital part of the local ecosystem, providing food and nutrients to all the wildlife in the area. It is important for our continued observations, and it kind of winds on quite a lot about the need for preservation.
That would have been a hard sell in 1898.
That is correct, actually. And looking at it, it looks like it wasn't necessarily sold to any particular group, but rather was a unanimous action on the part of the dean.
Who did they buy it from?
It looks like they bought it from the town itself, which had the rights to the land, and from, quote, various property owners.
Huh. And that would, I guess, all be itemized here.
Indeed. Looking over the purchase records, it will list a sets of names for people who used to own various pieces of land.
Well, who maintains it now? They bought it 25 years ago.
That goes to the Conservation Society, which is, quote, maintaining the land.
Does that society still exist?
Indeed it does, and you do remember you met someone from that society. The Rabid Forester.
Forester. Okay, I didn't note their name.
Trust me, I've forgotten a little bit too. They kind of fell by the wayside.
Well, we met somebody who claimed to be a part of it. Now we know it actually exists.
Yes, there you go.
Is the Trigoga Conservation Society a club from the university, or is it a separate organization?
It is in fact a club that is part of the university.
Right. So let's look them up. Have they been paying their dues and that kind of stuff?
Taking a look, it does appear that there's a very short list of people in it, but it doesn't list anything like dues. It doesn't seem like anyone pays into it.
Little weird, but I'll make a copy of the current members of the Tricoga Conservation Society.
All right. So you now have a list of members of the Conservation Society.
How big is it? Doesn't sound like it would be that big.
You'd say there's probably less than a dozen people on the list.
Well, it doesn't charge any dues, so it looks like a good extracurricular.
It's not exactly a student body club. It looks more like it is alumni and specific interests who are, quote, a part of the club.
Okay, and no names jump out at me.
Right. And it definitely doesn't seem to list anything like actual employees or workers that they might be hiring or anything like that, if they're managing the land.
So the Tricoga Conservation Society is part of the university, but they're not filing any expense reports or, any expenses at all.
It doesn't seem like that, though every now and then it does seem like it receives donations, either from different organizations or individuals within Tricoga, the dean himself, or the fraternities. One of them listed as Zeta Alpha Phi.
Okay. Let's see now. This seems a little weird to me because if there was a park in the middle of a city that didn't have anyone administrating it, then it would start to fall apart. People would throw garbage in there, stuff wouldn't get maintained. Well, except of course, if it was a supernatural horror and people just fled the place in turn.
No one will dare throw garbage again once we set up our monster.
I mean, that's well. I mean, like on the one hand, I'm saying it's kind of weird they don't have any rangers or anything preventing people from exploiting the land of the property. On the other hand, if it's a place of supernatural horror, it might maintain itself. Crud. The only thing I can think of is and see welcome everyone to our awesome stream where we talk about real estate and property law. Because the next thing I'm wondering is is all their filing up to date? Because if I want to get the property for myself, the first thing I want to make sure is that they actually have legal process to own it.
With these records and your research, it is very clear that they are in fact keeping up to date on this and are trying to keep a firm hold of it.
Well, the fact that they get donations to keep the Conservation Society running and then the Conservation Society has zero expenses, this is going to make it very difficult to convince them to sell the land as it costs them nothing and makes money. I mean, I'm laughing, but this is just like, wow. Well, I'm not going to. How would I ever convince them to sell it then? This is.
Gosh, I now just realized what a good scam this might be.
So this is the opposite of a Scooby-Doo scam where they keep it haunted so they can exploit it themselves. No, they just keep it haunted so they can do nothing with it.
Do you like the environment? Give us money. Thank you. It's like, what does money do? Environment.
I'll make copies of this that I can, and I'm going to go ahead and thank Zach here for his assistance, but there's something weird going on in this area in Willow Springs, and you would do well to follow up with your colleagues on this. But it's getting late, and I have an errand over at the wall over somewhere else in town that I shouldn't tell you because you're better off not knowing.
Well, I won't keep you then. If you need my help with anything, please give me a call.
And you've got my card.
I do.
All right.
Okay. So I told him about East and about the fungus, but I'm going to let him go ahead and run that. I need to go rent a hotel room and then get ready for nightfall so I can go invade the steel mill and see what's going on.
All right, so I'll go ahead and pop the steel mill. You're going to set up for that for the future. And we'll go ahead and shift over to Dante for a second, just so that we get him, even though he's away from the main action here. So, Dante, you have had a wonderful breakfast, a short phone call, and you're ready to tackle the day. What exactly do you plan to do?
I don't rightly know.
I understand. If you'd like to handle that later, I do remember you had specific plans for how you wanted to help the group.
Well, no, yeah, I understand that. I mean, I don't rightly know how to handle a problem such as Maria. No, I mean how to handle a problem like this, where people are losing their memories, but there's no real physical evidence of them losing their memories, and a lot of people do still remember them. So it's just, I don't... The short-term problem solving is nil. It's a long-term problem.
Right, so this is sort of like observing people throughout the day then, and seeing if anything odd occurs.
Right.
Okay, so what do you have in order to do long-term observation of your former home?
I have observation.
That's a good start, yes. I imagine you probably want to involve mind here as well.
Does he have local knowledge?
Not anymore, I don't think, unfortunately.
No, I sold it back because I haven't been here in 40 plus years now. I'm an old
That
man,
makes
by the way.
sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I thought you were 40, so it'd be like 20 years.
No,
Never
I'm
mind.
like 50 plus. I'm like late 50s. I have it written down somewhere, but sorry, it's
Old as dirt.
too many paragraphs.
Old as the Confederacy.